Tonight, household energy bills are set to fall to their lowest level for 2 years. But with charges still above pre-pandemic levels, what will it mean for you?
I've got a boy who works from home, so my energy's on more. So yeah, I really feel it.
Also making the headlines, 2 years on from Russia's invasion of Ukraine. We speak to those who fled their country, fearing for their lives.
In sport, Philippe Clement says Rangers aren't under extra pressure after going top of the Premiership.
And it's full steam ahead for the country's top train set builders as we stop off at the Model Railway Show. I'm Courtney Cameron in Edinburgh.
And I'm John Mackay in Glasgow. This is the STV News at 6. Good evening. Typical household energy bills will fall to their lowest level for 2 years from April. The regulator Ofgem is lowering its price cap after a reduction in wholesale prices.
That will mean a saving of around £20 per month on average for a dual-fuel household. However, the cost of gas and electricity will remain well above pre-pandemic levels. Our political correspondent Ewan Petrie reports.
This community centre offers a place to get warm, as well as a bowl of soup. It's a vital support for families dealing with high energy bills.
I've got a boy who works from home, so my energy's on more. So yeah, I really feel it. My direct debit just seems to be, we need you to pay more, we need you to pay more. It doesn't ever go down. I've got a wee part-time job and I do volunteer work in here. But yeah, I think everybody's struggling, even people that weren't struggling before.
From April, the average household bill will fall to £1,690. That's a drop of £238 over the course of a year, or £20 per month for a household using a typical amount of energy. It means bills will be at their lowest point in 2 years.
Lots and lots of people have used the same amount of energy, but it's cost so much more than it did before that actually they owe money to their energy supplier, and that is being taken off at the same time as their energy bill. So people's bills are absolutely enormous and in lots of cases unaffordable.
While the price cap is lowered, standing charges are increasing. And there will be an additional cost of £28 per year to reduce energy companies' debt.
Can we get scores on how good the soup is?
Labour wants the UK and Scottish governments to do more to ease pressure on household budgets.
It's not fair that working people are being hit with an increase in their income tax when they're struggling to make ends meet. They're being asked to pay more and get less and actually pay the price for SNP government incompetence. I don't think that's the right thing for us to do.
We have utilised progressive tax in order to seek to fund excellent public services and a social security net for people in Scotland. So, for example, if people are struggling in Scotland already, they have access to something that is really unique, like the Scottish child payment.
Energy policy is reserved to Westminster, where ministers are being urged to introduce a social tariff to reduce fuel poverty.
We've seen some limited but welcome progress, especially for people who have terminal illness and also for their families who have equipment at home. So I'm really keen to see where that can go. I think it's something which cross-party there's a lot of consensus on, and something I'm speaking with UK ministers around as well.
While today's drop is welcome for households, energy prices are expected to remain higher than pre-COVID levels until at least the end of the decade. Ewan Petrie, STV News.
This weekend marks 2 years since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Since then, more than 20,000 people who fled the country in fear of their lives have come to Scotland.
They've been reflecting on their time here, their thoughts about the conflict back home and what it all means for their future. Here's our senior reporter, Gordon Cree.
For 9-year-old twins Kit and Sasha, the soft play centre at Edinburgh's Commonwealth Pool is a world away from the war in their home country. There was, though, initial trepidation about fleeing Ukraine.
It feels like scary to go to another place, go to another school, something like that. and it feels like sad to go from the country you've been 7 years in.
But there's a clear feeling being in Scotland means being out of danger.
Absolutely safe because it's like the same as he said. It's because there are no rockets in here.
The twins' mum, who now has a new baby, told me there's often a lack of understanding about the daily realities of war.
People can't understand it. Even when you speak with somebody about the situation, for everybody it's like small talk, you know. What is Ukraine? Ukraine is in the war. Yeah, it's sad. They can't understand. It's impossible to understand, and it's good they can't understand. I don't want everybody live this life like us.
She has a job as a classroom assistant at the children's school, but still has hope they'll one day be able to return home. A number of families now live in Perth after being evacuated from Ukraine by the charity Dnipro Kids.
I'm here in safe and here really friendship people who help me to communication with another people, and I think here I'm feeling really good and in safe.
Perth, it's a good city, and in here I have good friends. My friends from Romania and another one from Scotland, and they're very good.
We do have moments where there is sadness and worry of friends and family that are still in Ukraine, but you know, they're here and they're safe, and the children are at school and they're doing well.
Some comfort during a conflict which shows little sign of an early resolution. Gordon Cree, STV News.
Scotland's XL bully ban is now in force, meaning strict guidelines apply. And from August, owners will need exemptions to keep their pet. The breeding, selling and abandoning of the dogs is also prohibited.
Campaigners fear it will lead to more XL bullies being dumped and say the policy is unclear. The Scottish Government is defending its rollout of the legislation, as Lewis Mickey reports.
5-month-old rescue Oscar is a crossbreed. It's impossible to determine if he will qualify as a Bully XL until he's older. If he does, then he will have to be on a lead and muzzled at all times in public. From today, it's illegal to breed, sell or abandon Bully XLs, and from August it will be an offence to own one unless you have an exemption or have applied for one. But campaigners like Kerry Ann fear this legislation will only increase the abandonment of dogs.
We've already seen dogs being dumped in Scotland. We're going to see more of that. And we've also seen landlords telling people that if they want to keep their tenancy, they're going to have to rehome their dog. Of course, that's now illegal to do after today, so the only option they've got is to euthanise their dogs.
A number of dog attacks linked to Bully XL type animals in recent months have grabbed headlines. That has forced the hand of the Scottish Government to introduce a ban, as the UK Government had already done. The legislation isn't just opposed by campaigners. The Scottish SPCA said it opposed restrictions that focus specifically on certain types of dogs. Attempts by the charity to rehome 4 Bully XLs have seen 2 adopted. The other pair remain in kennels. Amongst dog walkers today, mixed opinions.
I mean, they're lovely dogs, they just got to watch what they're doing, but there is a lot of attacks, so yeah.
I like all dogs, so wouldn't want to ban any.
They've got that in their nature, I suppose, haven't they? But yeah, it's what you do with them all.
And you think it's just more down to the owner as to how the dog behaves?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, down to the owner.
And the thing is, if you own an XL bully dog, you can keep your XL bully dog. You do not need to put it down. And I do have confidence with the numbers that we've had in England and Wales since it came into effect from the 31st of January. I think there are over 61,000 dogs that were registered.
Campaigners hope the legislation could still be stopped in the courts, but for now, restrictions apply. Lewis Mickey, STV News.
To other stories, and single-use vapes could be banned in Scotland by April next year. The Scottish Government has published draft legislation after it announced it would mirror rules being introduced in England and Wales. There will be an outright ban on disposable e-cigarettes, with other restrictions brought in on vape flavours and promotions, as well as a change to the legal age for buying tobacco.
SQA staff have walked out on strike as part of an ongoing pay dispute. A second stoppage is planned for Thursday by members of the Unite Union, with action short of strikes due to run until mid-May. The SQA says there will be no impact on coursework, exams or grades.
This is a key point in the year that require our members to work huge amounts of overtime and weekends. Now that we have action short of strike, which will last for 3 months, we do know that there will be a huge impact on the exam diet and the qualifications, and we really want to get that resolved as quickly as possible.
Women who've experienced homelessness, addiction and domestic abuse will soon be given a dedicated specialist support centre. The Connect Hub, which will be run by the Simon community, is set to open in Glasgow city centre this spring. Alongside other support providers, it will focus on delivering mental and physical health services. Vanessa Taff has more.
There's a chance to talk and a chance to get help at this women's service. Many will only seek that help when they've reached crisis point.
I had quite a difficult past. I'd been in the care system, and also part of my early adult life I found myself homeless. When you go through homelessness, your mental health's really badly affected. Being part of the process, it makes you feel valued, it makes you feel worthy and that you can give something back.
The Connect Hub has been developed by the women in this room for their use. 39 homeless women in Glasgow are given daily support, but demand is believed to be much higher.
It's essential that we're able to also reach women that we don't currently see, so women who have children who might be at risk of losing their homes, who are choosing between food and fuel. A lot of the women that we support are facing extreme representations of poverty, and it's essential that we provide opportunities for them to move on to what's right for them and really harness their skills, their creativity, their passion.
The service is moving away from a clinical style setting to a community model. It'll offer a range of health and wellbeing treatments while providing other practical skills.
Stigma, misinformation about women's health is a real remains real barriers for women in accessing the support they need and accessing services. And those barriers are only heightened for women that are maybe marginalised in our society, or for maybe women experience homelessness.
Funding has been secured to open the Connect Hub for 4 days a week, with the team hopeful they can extend to 7 days, giving these women the best possible chance. Vanessa Taff, STV News in Glasgow.
Today marks a week until the World Athletics Indoor Championships start in Glasgow. The city is getting ready for some of the sport's biggest names to arrive to compete at the Emirates Arena. Ahead of the championships, schools have been trying their hand at some of the events, as Adam Todd reports.
The excitement is building. More than 700 athletes from 130 countries are set to compete as Glasgow hosts the World Athletics Indoor Championships from the 1st to the 3rd of March. For these primary school children, they're getting their first taste of the sport thanks to World Athletics. The kids immersed themselves in running, jumping and throwing events, and it proved a popular hit.
It was really fun. I got to play with my friends. My favourite sport was when we were doing the jumping, and my favourite sport is running.
6 schools from the local area joined the free event held at Hag Hill Primary, only a stone's throw away from where the world's best will be in action. The programme aims to encourage young people to be more active and to improve their confidence.
It's getting these kids fit and active, but most importantly, it's getting them involved in their local community and letting them see that they too can be elite athletes and there's a pathway for them.
Hoping to inspire the children will be Laura Muir, Gemma Reiki and Josh Kerr, who are aiming for medal success in front of a home crowd. 5,000 fans are expected to attend each session.
We've got 3 Scottish athletes and 3 Scottish athletes that will be going there and really targeting something special. You know, hopefully we'll have 3 medalists. Even better, we could have 3 World Indoor Champions. It would just be fantastic.
And while all eyes will be on the elite athletes on the track next weekend, it's hoped the legacy of the championships will live on for years to come and inspire the next generation of top talent. Adam Todd, STV News.
Now Raman is here with a look ahead to the weekend sport.
Thanks very much, John. Good evening to you all. Philippe Clement says Rangers aren't under any added pressure after moving above Celtic to the top of the Premiership. The Ibrox side, who were today drawn against Benfica in the last 16 of the Europa League, face Hearts tomorrow. Stephen Naismith says his players will need to have a strong mentality as they aim to secure another big result in Glasgow.
The first game when I'm here, that we will be underdogs in a game. That's the reality. But that doesn't mean that we cannot qualify. No, we believe in our qualities, and I think with the mentality that there is in this group now, that we can beat everybody.
Rangers' immediate focus is the visit of Hearts. The Ibrox club have been dealt a blow after Todd Cantwell was ruled out for 3 to 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. At the weekend, Philippe Clement's side moved to the top of the Premiership for the first time this season. Do you accept that it's a different sort of challenge now that you're league leaders as opposed to second place?
No, no, no.
You don't think there's any added pressure now that you're top?
No, I don't feel any pressure in this group. No, I feel a lot of hunger, desire, will.
Hearts head to Ibrox in excellent form. Stephen Naismith's side have won 11 out of their last 12 games.
In my playing days here, we very rarely went to Celtic Park or Ibrox and got a result, and you're probably going into the games never having a feeling that you were going to. We've managed up until this point, we've managed to change that last season with 2-2 at Ibrox. We won at Celtic Park this year, we were close at Ibrox this season.
We have a belief that we're going to go in and win this game. You know, I said it quite a few times now, we know it's going to be a tough challenge. Rangers will pose a great challenge in terms of the form that they've been in. You know, it's one we're ready for, and as I said, we've put ourselves in a position where it's just a great opportunity for us. We see this as a great opportunity to go and be as confident as we can.
Celtic chairman Peter Lawwell says the club share the frustration of fans over the number of signings last month. The champions signed Nicholas Kuhn, while Adam Ida joined on loan. As the club announced their latest financial results, which shows £67.3 million in the bank, Lawwell says they were disappointed they didn't land more targets. Well, Cameron Carter-Vickers and Alistair Johnson returned to the squad for the trip to Motherwell on Sunday. Celtic trail Rangers by 2 points in the title race.
We are not top of the league because of ourselves and the points that we've dropped. So, but we have to learn from that, and we have to be focused very much on our own performance, and that's what the next 12 games will be, because it's still in our hands what it is we achieve this season. It doesn't matter where you sit now, it's where you are at the end of the season.
A lot of our players have been involved in 3 really close games against Celtic over my tenure, and we definitely draw on the positives, and there's been plenty of them in those games.
St Mirren manager Stephen Robinson says he makes no apology for being passionate and protecting his players, but has revealed he has received an apology from the Buddies fan he clashed with last weekend. Robinson was involved in a heated exchange with the supporter following the club's defeat to Livingston, angered that his side's heart had been questioned.
I won't apologise for being passionate and emotional. You know, it's, as I say, you've just lost a game where you should have won comfortably. I'm very protective of my boys and the players, like my kids. I've spoke to the fans since, no issue whatsoever. We both want the same thing. I disagreed on his analysis of the game. He reached out to me and apologised, and that apology was accepted. And as I say, it was just 2 frustrated people. We all want the same thing.
Well, St Mirren are at home to St Johnstone tomorrow. Elsewhere, Hibs take on Dundee at Easter Road, while Kilmarnock face Aberdeen at Rugby Park, and Livingston are away to Ross County. To rugby, and Scotland co-captain Finn Russell says their recent dominance over England will count for nothing when the sides meet in the Six Nations tomorrow. Ahead of the match, our reporter Jamie Borthwick joins us live from Murrayfield. Jamie.
Well, Rahman, it's not very often over the years that you can say that Scotland go into this fixture holding the upper hand, but for 6 of the past 7 seasons, the Calcutta Cup has resided right here at Murrayfield. The Scots go into this one looking to bounce back from their defeat to France, and if they can do that, they keep alive their hopes and aspirations of challenging for the Six Nations title. It would also mean recording a 4th victory in a row over England. That would equal an all-time record. But tomorrow's visitors, well, they're going to have a thing or two to say about that.
They're here with one purpose: to recapture the Calcutta Cup. And England know that to do that, they'll have to stop the man who makes Scotland tick. Finn Russell has been at the heart of his nation's run of just one defeat in the last 7 meetings of rugby's oldest rivals.
I'm not sure what England are going to do, if they're going to try and fly out the line and take me out, or if they're going to try and shut me down from the outside. But that's something we'll have to figure out in the game, and we'll have to be able to adapt. We can't look back at the last few games and think, oh, it's turned in our favour. Every time we play England, it's always a huge challenge, and we've got to be at our best to have a chance to beat them.
For England players raised on dominance in this fixture, losing the upper hand to the Scots has been tough to take.
With Finn and Greg Laidlaw, that video of them singing with their shirts off and with the cup, and which is great, and I love it. But I'm like, I wish I could be doing that rather than watching it. Or that famous Finn Russell photo from a year or two back when he's got his Spider-Man hands up and he's loving it. That stirs passion in me to go, I want that cup.
More than 67,000 will pack out Murrayfield for the match, and Gregor Townsend's calling on the home fans to make themselves heard.
There's been a real emotion and energy behind the Scottish team by the Scottish fans. We get energy from our supporters, and that connection really helps us.
Scotland's Six Nations hopes are on the line when the rivalry resumes tomorrow evening. Jamie Borthwick, STV News.
Should be a cracker. Finally, snooker news, and John Higgins is out of the Players' Championship. He lost his quarter-final match to Zhang Anda by 6 frames to 4. That's all your sport tonight. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Raman. Well, now it's time for the weather with Philip.
A breezy morning will be followed up with a flurry of fresh delights for lunch. TUI sponsors STV Weather.
Hello and very good evening to you. Well, as we head into the weekend, our weather is being dominated by low pressure, but despite that, things aren't looking too bad. It is remaining mostly dry for many of us through Saturday and Sunday, and we will see plenty of sunny spells. And even into the start of next week, high pressure is trying to build in from the west, so it looks like a fine start to next week as well. Back to just now though, and we'll continue to see quite frequent showers across the very far west, some of those merging together into longer spells of rain across parts of Argyll and Bute. Away from that though, remaining mostly dry with plenty of clear skies. So under the clear conditions, we will see temperatures dropping away. That's leading to a fairly widespread frost even in the towns and cities. Temperatures for most places getting close to, if not below, freezing. So it does mean for tomorrow it will be a chilly, frosty start to the day. We will see some mist and fog patches in places too, and those will linger through the course of the morning. Across eastern areas, a bright start to the day. Later on though, we do start to see the cloud thickening here, and that could spark off 1 or 2 light showers later on in the afternoon. Temperatures reaching highs of 6 or 7 degrees Celsius. Now looking ahead to Sunday, like I said, it will be a reasonable day for many of us, remaining largely dry. The heaviest showers once again will be across the Northern Isles. Away from that though, plenty of sunny spells, but still feeling quite chilly, with temperatures reaching highs of 6 or 7 degrees Celsius. Bye-bye.
TUI sponsors STV Weather.
And finally, it's all aboard for Scotland's biggest model railway exhibition, with some of the country's top train set builders displaying their work at the SEC in Glasgow.
There are concerns the hobby is hitting hard times due to changing demographics and the cost of living, but the event is expected to attract around 15,000 rail enthusiasts over the course of this weekend alone. Our reporter Caitlin Hutchison has been stationed there today to find out more.
If you've always wanted to discover more about Scotland's rich railway history, this could be just the ticket. The country's premier model railway exhibition is back, and this year it's full steam ahead.
I think it's the diversity of the event and the different type of exhibits that we can attract to the larger show at Glasgow here. It takes you away from reality, and it allows you to embed yourself into a model world which can either be of your own making or something totally fictitious.
Dozens of stunningly detailed layouts and model trains from 32 different clubs are on display this weekend, along with specialist societies, collectors' stalls and demonstrations. The scale of this event might have you thinking model railways are more popular than ever. And while it's certainly not the end of the line, an ageing population, the cost of living and smaller living spaces have all been blamed for a downturn in the model rail industry. Another national convention down south recently revealed last year's meetup was its last.
It's not a cheap hobby, you know, I'm not going to lie about that, but don't be afraid to get stuck in. I have learnt to do this by watching YouTube videos, and it also shows people that you don't need to have a lot of room in your house.
The kids that are the young blood of the hobby, and without them, you know, there'll be any clubs. So that's why we encourage them to come along.
I very much enjoy looking at all the other exhibits, but also to watch other people do their craft.
And even I have had a wee go, and after talking to the experts about how it all works, I think I'm on the right track.
Caitlin Hutchison, STV News at the SEC in Glasgow.
Love model railways, always on time, never on strike.
Have a lovely weekend. Thanks for watching.
Good night.